What's going on, guys? Welcome to the My Parents Office podcast, episode 106. I am your host, Andrew Diaz. Today, I am joined by my co-host and producer, Brett Castle, via Zoom. We've got a sports movies draft along with the drop of Certified Lover Boy, and we'll kind of delve into that the same way we got into Donda a little bit. First, like I always do before the episodes, socials, at My Parents Office, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, My Parents Office Podcast, articles from the office, Substack, and then leave us a 5-star review. Go do that. I would like that. That would be cool. On Apple, and even write a review. I don't see any written reviews. So that would be cool to at least have one or two of those. But before we do that, Brett, what's going on?
What's good, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. I just finished so we're taping this on Friday. Yesterday, Thursday, was my first real day of classes, but I only have one class and it's at 2:00. It's like 2 to 3:15. So I just had practice in the morning with a lift, and then I have like 6 hours off until class.
You have one class? Like for this whole semester, you have one class?
No, just on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So.
Oh, yeah, but it's only that one class, though.
That day.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and then so today I had 4. I went from 8 to noon. Today I had maritime law at 8.
What does that even mean?
The rules of owning
treat the fish correctly.
I
treat the fish well. All fish matter. Is that what that means?
Kind of. What was my other one? Oh, I had transportation operations management.
How to drive a bus? What does that mean?
Kind of. That's actually it's more of why buses are important. So
do you need a class for that? I can send you Google if that helps.
That would be helpful. And then I had marketing 1, and then after that, quantitative methods of management, which is going to be an absolute bear of a class. It's going to be a haul for that.
Please define quantitative.
No.
Is it 4? Like qua?
No. It's like the whole class is like Excel and math and like all of the good stuff that I'm not good at mixed into one class. So
I like Excel and stuff.
I don't mind it, but it's like all the formulas and stuff with it too. I'm like pretty sure, but it was syllabus week this week, so it was nothing. So I do have a couple more days off and then come back Tuesday and we're right back into the thick of it. So
out of the feeding or treating fish well, bus driving, Excel, which one out of those 4 classes are you most likely to use in
marketing?
Okay. The one I didn't say. Gotcha.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then maybe operations management, quant methods, and then probably treating fish well.
Yeah.
That at 4. Yeah, that's what I'd have to go with.
Who's teaching that? Aquaman?
That would be pretty badass.
Yeah.
That would. I was hoping it would be Steve Irwin, but
I was hoping it would be
anymore.
I was hoping it'd be Vinny Chase personally.
Vinny Chase dressed as Aquaman though in the suit.
Correct.
It's him and Mandy Moore.
Yeah, for sure. And then just the backdrop of your class is just him ripping it off.
Yeah. When he jumps off. Yeah, when he jumps off the pier in the Santa Monica Pier, where he's that's the whole background. That's pretty much just what you learn. You dissect the Vinny Chase Aquaman movie. But so on the topic of movies, we teased it last time, our sports movie draft. So I think there is some when you really get into it, there's like your clear-cut sports movies like Mighty Ducks, Remember the Titans, stuff like that, Coach Carter. But then there's also ones that teeter on the edge, but like I'd push like not a Billy Madison, like a Happy Gilmore into it. So I'm curious.
Here Comes the Boom.
Here Comes the Boom would be a sports one. So we're going to do, it's 5 picks. Brett's going to get the number 1 pick. We're going to go back and forth. No limit on the sport you pick, but there will be, if one of us thinks that one of ours falls way too loosely out of context of sports, then we can appeal it. So,
I mean, what about those people in those classes in high school that want to call everything a sport? So like School of Rock, is that a sport?
No. No, marching band's not a sport. Band's not a sport.
Well, maybe not to you.
Come on.
I would call it the sport.
Just because you sweat while you're doing it doesn't make it a sport. I was sweating in class today in my uniform. That doesn't make it a sport. I'm not an athlete because
I don't call
sweat.
driving a sport. Well,
All right. What is your number one pick for this draft?
all right. So probably for the first time ever, my number one will probably be my number one. Gonna have to go little basics here. Gonna go with Rocky, which I said that last time, but you know,
Now, are you taking a specific Rocky?
Rocky 2.
I'm surprised Rocky 2 is your pick.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everyone's go-to for Rocky is either 1 or 4.
Yes.
But one he loses, which I guess it's like a feel good at the end where it's like he lost, but it was a moral victory. I don't know.
Right.
But the second one, what?
I said that makes sense. I do. It's a good one. I'm just surprised that is your number one pick. I like the pick. I'm just shocked.
Yeah, Rocky 2, time he actually beat Apollo Crews, mutual respect between the two. But all the Rockies in general, just cap off at 4. We don't really care about Tommy Gunn. Sorry, Tommy Gunn. But you know who's in Rocky 5?
Who?
Everything has to come back to Entourage. Fucking Kevin Connolly.
Is he really?
Yeah.
What is he in the movie?
I think he plays the son's friend. I think he was a kid. Maybe not. Could have made that up.
Pretty sick. So Rocky 2 is going number 1 overall in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Rocky is my number 1. I know we're not really doing franchise or anything, but yeah, Rocky 2.
So I'll put it as Rocky 1 through 5 for you, if you want to do that.
Well, what'd you say?
Do you want to go Rocky 1 through 5?
Just Rocky 2.
All right.
Rocky 2.
So my number 1 pick, I'm gonna go with.
Wait, how many Rockies are there? 6?
Because there's Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Balboa. And then I mean, if you wanted to count the Creeds, there's 2 of those.
So far, yeah.
Yeah. So number 1, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Remember the Titans. If you're any type of football player, you've seen Remember the Titans. Everybody knows the song. Everybody knows Ain't No Mountain High Enough, pretty much from Remember the Titans. And it's that song is kind of like a cultural phenomenon because it's so relevant nowadays, and probably wouldn't be if it weren't in that movie. And it's just, I think, probably the best football movie there is because it's humorous. It's got a good message. It gets serious at times. So, and it's based on a true story too, which is, I also think is pretty cool. So, Remember the Titans is going to be my number 1 overall pick.
Such a good movie that it was on my list, and I don't give a shit about football. So
yeah, it's an awesome movie. It's unreal.
The legend says that movie actually got rid of racism.
I think that's right. I do think you're right about that.
Read in the Bible, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 2.
Number 2 doesn't really have to go with like the quality of the film or anything, but I think it's just more of how much I loved it as a kid. Just like what I was saying about Remember the Titans. I don't really care much about this movie or the sport per se, but Angels in the Outfield, instant classic. If I say so myself. Another good movie. I really can't really tell you much of what the movie is about, but I liked it a lot from a kid. But yeah,
I like that pick. That was one I didn't really think about, but bringing it up, I do like that pick. It's one I've seen. I'm
gonna rephrase. I do obviously remember what the movie is about. I can't really give like a synopsis of it.
So number 2, I'm gonna go with one that may or may not have been on your list. I'm guessing it probably was. I'm gonna go Vision Quest at number 2. Because
it wasn't, Mom.
I'm picking that just because as a wrestler, wrestling doesn't have many good movies. Actually, really any good ones at all. And Vision Quest is the closest thing to, like, I feel like an accurate representation of what high school wrestling actually is.
No, definitely. Legendary with The Rock. Is that one? Or not The Rock, John Cena. Isn't that?
Oh, that one's terrible.
That was the best.
Legendary was so bad, dude. Well, so that's my main complaint with a lot of the movies, and Vision Quest does it too. Every takedown is either a lat drop or a fireman's carry. There's nobody shoots an ankle pick. No one hits a high C. nobody like, or it's headlocks. Headlocks are another big one. It's just like one big. They just pretty much took Greco and we're like, all right, we're just gonna turn it into this, and then throw a fireman's carry in, and
No,
that'll be high
they
school
want that
wrestling.
reaction. It's like one of 3 moves that people actually go, ooh.
It's a good point. Yeah, nobody goes ooh over like just a normal high C takedown or just a normal double, but
Yeah. I mean, I hate wrestling in general, so it's
it
terrible.
but yeah, Vision Quest 2, because that was I watched that for the first time with my dad, and me and him will kind of go back and forth and quote it with each other as well. So like it's still got that nostalgia feel, and it's got one of my all-time favorite gym songs on there in the soundtrack in Lunatic Fringe. And just the whole like, and probably my favorite scene from the whole movie is when he goes and sees Shoot, and Shoot is walking up the bleachers with the giant log on his back. I don't know if that's like during the school day. I don't know really when that was or why he was doing it, or like how they knew he'd be walking up and down the bleachers with a log on his back, but it's just an awesome scene in the movie. So yeah, I'm gonna go Vision Quest number 2 overall.
Which school would you think is the first to do that in reality? Definitely Iowa or something.
Where?
Like I said Iowa, but if you can see a school doing that, what would it be?
I'd say Iowa's a good one. I would also see Iowa State or Oklahoma State.
I can see Michigan State doing it too. I don't know why. I feel like they're very.
I can't see like a Penn State or a Michigan do it, or an
No,
Oklahoma,
they're
or an
playing
Ohio
chess.
State. It's got to be like a team that's like real gritty and old school. So I'd say like one of the Iowa schools I'd say would go with it, or a Michigan State I could see.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to raise you another wrestling film.
Okay.
We kind of talked about just now how pretty much the ones that are all fiction are they're very Disney like.
Yeah.
They're too feel good in
You
that
can see it
sense.
coming from a mile away.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's 2 nonfiction or 2 based on real life ones I could think of right now. I'm gonna pick one between The Hammer and Foxcatcher. We're gonna go with Foxcatcher.
Ooh, that's a good. I like that pick right there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to say being a fan of the story because it's a very tragic story of the homicide of Dave Schultz.
Tremendously. It's a gut-wrenching movie when he gets killed in it. You kind of see it coming, but like you don't expect it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a wrestling fan, you're not gonna know what's happening. But just thinking about it as a wrestling film and then going back and looking at the cast, like that's insane. Like wrestling never gets that kind of love to have like a Channing Tatum, a Steve Carell, a Mark Ruffalo.
It was an unreal cast. Yeah, it was
for real. It probably deserves a little bit more love. It from the story, probably the accuracy. But it's just a really good movie in general.
Yeah, that one. So you said you're like, if you're not a wrestling fan, you won't know the story. I watched that when I was kind of getting into wrestling. I saw that it came out. So me and my dad watched it one night. We rented it, and I didn't know the story. So when I see him get shot, I'm like, holy! I like Googled that whole story and like what happened and everything that happened with it. So I was like shocked when it happened.
One more thing, like how I was saying this week, that's crazy about Donda. Like I don't like the idea of having to watch something or listening to something more than once to like actually enjoy it. But Foxcatcher is actually one that the second time I watched it, I liked it a lot more than the first time I watched it.
There's a lot you can miss in Foxcatcher, I feel like.
For sure.
The first time, because there's so much going on. You're kind of sorry. You're kind of like wowed by the cast in it. You're like surprised that all these guys are in a wrestling movie too. So I think that takes the first time you see it, you kind of get a little shocked by that.
Well, I think that's one reason why it's probably the reason why a lot of non-wrestling people know the film. Mm-hmm. Like other movies you just mentioned, like is Legendary the one with John Cena?
Yes.
Okay, so Legendary, The Hammer, Vision Quest, pretty much all those movies no one would know unless we're in that world. I mean, there's probably, of course, like go deep into basketball films, football films as well, and it's the same kind of thing. But for a sport that's not pop culture, the only way you're really going to know these films is if the cast, and they did a great job.
Yeah, it's 3 huge names in it, and got people you really wouldn't think would be working together in a movie. Like especially around that time, like The Office was as big as it was. You wouldn't really expect Steve Carell to step into a role like he did, where he's playing this creepy older guy that ends up becoming a murderer. It's
He played
insane.
creepy very well.
Yeah.
I
All
mean,
right.
maybe another time we can go back and do like a draft for sports documentaries because I
I was
like the
gonna say that could be our
Foxcatcher.
next one.
Yeah, because I like the Foxcatcher documentary a lot more.
Yeah. All right. Number 3. I'm between a couple right now. I've got a few that may or may not be taken by you. So I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go Coach Carter right here.
I only have 2 left, right?
Yeah, you got 2.
Yeah.
We just got 2 now. So
Yeah.
I'm going Coach Carter. It's probably Hoosiers is probably the best basketball movie maybe of all time, but Coach Carter is like the biggest of our generation because of who's in it. Another Channing Tatum movie. Samuel L. Jackson plays the head coach in it, and it's just an awesome movie about this like scrappy team, like just no respect on their team. That's an inner city, pretty ghetto team, and Coach Carter comes in, Samuel L. Jackson, completely turns it around and turns them into an actually good program. It's a feel-good movie, but has a lot of it's a gritty movie, I call it. It's got a lot of all the players have different flaws, like they all come from different backgrounds. So it's a real good, just awesome movie. I think my favorite basketball movie of all time. A lot of people argue, like I said, Hoosiers as being the greatest, but for our generation, the last 15 years, kids that grew up that are our age, they're gonna say Coach Carter is the best basketball movie of all time. So, and it's my favorite of all time. So I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. So big reveal here. I'm not a big basketball fan, but that's one that I would give it definitely a chance because I'm a big Samuel L. Jackson fan. So
That's you don't even really need to be a basketball fan to watch that movie.
yeah.
That's a really good one. That's a really good movie. I like that one a lot. It comes up on like maybe Fox every so often, or like one of the networks. You'll see it on TV.
Probably on Hulu or something. Maybe.
Yeah, Hulu, Netflix, or HBO.
Well, Hulu has a lot of like the cable stuff, so
Yeah. So yeah, it's
TNT.
probably on there.
So before we continue, and I give my 4, are there really any notable female sports movies? I know there's a really popular basketball one.
Is there?
Yeah. Hold on.
I'd say that probably the biggest female sports movie would be.
Tanya, but that's not really like a major sport.
I'd say Bend It Like Beckham, which is very loosely around soccer. That's probably my favorite female sports movie of all time. That's a really good one.
I think I love it. Sorry.
That's only the one I can think of. That and High Tanya.
Love and Basketball is the one I was talking about.
Oh yeah. Well, like that doesn't even. None of the real female movies, unless we're really missing in one right now, touch any of the ones that are going to really be taken, and even ones that we'll miss out on taking. Like it's crazy that there hasn't been a really good like women's basketball one.
Well, I mean, not a major sport. Well, it is a major sport, but not like a team sport. One of my favorite movies, which isn't in my list, but Million Dollar Baby. But it's
that's a good one.
Yeah, but even that is more around Clint Eastwood than the woman.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. It's a Clint movie with a female role in it. Are you gonna see the new Clint Eastwood movie?
Which one's that?
It's
probably I like Clint Eastwood.
He plays like a cowboy in it, I think, or like not a cowboy, but
that sounds like every Clint Eastwood movie.
It's Cry Macho.
Yeah.
The trailer came out. It looks pretty good. I'm assuming this will most likely be Clint's last movie. With
getting up there.
I think he's 91.
That's crazy.
And I mean,
I feel like in the future,
he also put out the movie with John Hamm, the Atlanta bombing one, like a year and a half ago too. Like he produced that one, so he was 90 or 89 at the time when that came out. So he's literally just gonna work till he dies.
I feel like I feel like a lot of I can see this. I don't know what you would think of this, but I can see a lot of older popular sports movies being made with a female role, because I feel like that's kind of a thing.
What do you mean? Like remade?
Yeah, like like a remake of it. Like
I don't
think of any.
I don't think
What?
there's a shelf life, or not a shelf, like a big. I don't think there would be a huge audience for a remake of a sports movie.
I don't think so either, but I can see that happening.
Yeah, I don't know how that. I would rather see. I mean, there's a lot of great I mean, nobody's that High Tanya one's not a great movie.
I like it.
It was. I think they could have made a bet with how big that story was. You could have made a really, really good movie that could argue to be a top 10 sports movie of all time because
That's
of
fair.
just how the magnitude of that event is just outrageous. And there should be a bigger and better movie about it. So I'm trying
It's not even like I don't even think a good reasoning of that not really existing is that women's sports aren't very popular.
Mm-mm.
I mean, of course, it's a factor in that, but nowadays, of how like people love draws, like actresses are a draw. You go to a certain movie to see blank actor or actress.
Yeah.
And there's some really big names, even like younger women nowadays, like really big actresses. Like, even if it's a fake story, I think the movie would do well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the movies we've put up here are fake stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Vision Quest wasn't real. Angel in the
Real to me.
Outfield. It was Angel in the Outfield. That wasn't real.
I don't think that's real.
I had to double check myself. No, I'm Rocky wasn't real. So I mean, like, there's a lot of you can make a really good plot off
I think
of
a lot of people think Rocky is real.
that's one you could easily dupe somebody into thinking is real.
For sure. There's Rocky statues for a fictional character.
That is actually crazy that he does have a statue and he's a fictional boxer.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good statue. The statue of GSP looks like Barack Obama. Like,
yeah. All right, number 4. What are we rocking with here?
we're gonna go with The Sandlot.
Good one. That's a good one.
Classic film. Classic. You know, that's a film that you don't have to even like sports to enjoy. It's just a fun ragtag. I probably used that word 4 times in my life. Ragtag group of kids who just love baseball. It's a good ass movie.
You need for you to enjoy that, you need to just have had a group of friends that you grew up with to just understand and like that. Pretty much.
Or just have no friends and just sit in your basement and watch it.
And just wish
Whatever floats your boat.
Wish what?
I said whichever floats your boat.
Yeah, yeah, you can either hope to have those friends or reminisce about it with your friends. But yeah, I think that scene where they go and play baseball on the 4th of July when the fireworks are going off is like maybe a top 10 or top 5 famous scene from a sports movie. Like,
sure.
It's one of the most known. Like when you think of The Sandlot, that's immediately what I think of. That or the dog chasing after.
I think of the dog.
Benny the Jet. But that fireworks scene is just awesome when they're knocking on each other's doors and literally running over to the baseball field to play while the fireworks are going off because they're going to get light from it.
I think about the dog, or I think about them talking about Babe Ruth.
Oh, the Babe Ruth scene. Yeah, the Sultan of SWAT. I love that when they're just all rattling off nicknames from it. It's
just moniker after moniker.
It's great. So, number 4. I honestly, I don't know where I want to go with this because I could go with like a comedy or I'm really stuck right now. So I'll go with When the Game Stands Tall, another true story.
You're not going to pick the second Space Jam, the iconic film?
You know, we watched it, but it wasn't as bad as I really wanted it to be. It wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad as I had anticipated.
I think people were a little too salty. Okay, not a lot of people, but people were a little. There were comments made about the woman basketball players about the movie trying to be too inclusive. I'm like, it's a cartoon.
Yeah. There was a lot of just politics around the movie. Like people were making it out to be way worse. I mean, it just wasn't a good movie, but it wasn't as bad as people were saying it was. But
dude, it's a kids movie.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
But so I'm going When the Game Stands Tall with my fourth pick. That was one I saw that we rented out the movie theater when I was playing youth football, and we like could like buy a ticket, and the youth kids would go and watch that. And that was a really good movie for when it came out. It's not nearly the level of Remember the Titans, but it was the first good football movie that like kids our age saw, I think, maybe other than Remember the Titans. So I'll put that on there. It's a true story about the De La Salle football team. They went undefeated for like 10 years straight, and they ended up losing 2 games. And the kids on that team had brothers that played on the undefeated team, had cousins or family members that played on the undefeated teams. So for them to lose that streak, which was one of the longest in history of a high school team going undefeated, was just an awesome story. Like, they battled with what their identity was. They played against better schools. They played the Cal Poly game is the most famous scene from that movie, where they're playing against them. It's 110 degrees out, and they go play a Poly team that's way bigger and way better than them and end up beating them. But so yeah, that's I'm going to throw another football one on there. So When the Game Stands Tall is going to be my fourth pick, and now you've got your final pick here.
Yeah, I was originally going to go with a boxing movie to finish it off, just to kind of play in my wheelhouse. But then just now, I thought of it. There really aren't too many iconic martial arts films in general.
Yeah.
You can pick like some random ones like Ip Man. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of Japanese films are good, some low budget films that are good. But one of the most iconic like mixed martial arts films, Warrior with Tom Hardy, if you've seen that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Another feel good movie, brother kind of film. I don't know much to say about it besides I recommend it. Really good martial art film. It's realistic. I can say it's realistic, but when it comes to martial arts films, or a lot of just are unrealistic sports action scenes,
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
That's a good pick. I like that one. I thought you'd take. I had kind of thought about that one. I wasn't sure if you.
I was gonna go with Southpaw first.
Southpaw's another good one, but I like Warrior. I think is better.
Warrior fits me more.
Yeah. So my final pick, I've kind of bounced around from sports, so I'm gonna go with another different sport. I've gone with 2 football ones, a basketball, and a wrestling one. So I'm gonna go hockey this time, and go with Slapshot. The came out in 1977, but it's hilarious. It's like the Caddyshack of golf, or a Caddyshack of hockey, about this team in West Virginia that they're gonna shut down, and it's just a group of, just like you said before, ragtag group that they have no business playing like semi-pro hockey. I actually have a sticker on my laptop. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you later. There's 3, it's triplets. Oh, okay. It's triplets that play on the team, and they're hilarious. It's a super funny movie, but revolves heavy around hockey. So that's gonna be my final pick. Were there any that you missed? I know you mentioned Southpaw.
Yeah, I mean Happy Gilmore's a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that counts. It counts.
Yeah.
The Hammer, the Mark Hamill wrestling movie, The Death.
Yep.
There's definitely some Bad News Bears.
Yep. I'm trying. One of the ones I missed that I actually debated for the 5th spot was it's one of my favorite comedies of all time, Semi Pro, with Will Ferrell. Actually, Andre 3000's in it. He plays a point guard in the movie, named Coffee Black. So it's hilarious. But so I debated with that one, throwing that in. But there weren't really many others.
17 is good.
What was it?
Is that the Jackie Robinson movie, 17?
42.
That's what I said.
7? Are you shitting me? 17?
Dude, I don't watch sports.
How do you not know Jackie Robinson's number?
Is 17 a movie? Hold on.
1917, maybe, is what you're thinking.
That's not what I'm thinking of. And I'm not thinking of 17 again with Zac Efron.
I just typed in 17 because 17 again is kind of a sports movie. They play basketball in it.
I don't know what I was thinking of.
That had a pretty good cast. 17 again had a good cast.
With Matthew Perry?
Matthew Perry, Zac Efron, Leslie Mann, Thomas Lennon, Sterling Knight. Actually, That wasn't a terrible movie. I mean, it wasn't great, but
It wasn't a great movie.
it was for when it came out and when I saw it, I thought it was a good movie.
There's a basketball movie I love with Tupac. Above the Rim. Is that the one?
Yes, I think so.
That's a good movie. Just to name a few that.
Yeah, that's the Tupac one.
Up popular sports movie just now, and Fighting with My Family was number 2, which is kind of odd because it's a pro wrestling movie.
I like what's it called? I just drew a blank. Oh, White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, I love that movie. Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's one I'm surprised you didn't pick.
I didn't think about it, but I love that movie. Ford versus Ferrari's on this list. Again, I don't consider racing a sport. Sorry, people.
So that's where I would have been fine.
I consider as much of
Ford versus Ferrari or even like a Talladega Nights.
It's not a sport. It's as much of a sport as chess.
No, you sweat when you. It's intense. I know I said before, but like that's like an adrenaline sport.
Adrenaline. Adrenaline doesn't make a sport.
I gotta disagree here. I gotta disagree.
There's things that require technique, but that doesn't make it a sport.
I'd say NASCAR is definitely a sport, or Formula One.
I'm not gonna go with the argument that there's people say that a sport needs to have defense, and I don't agree with that. I consider like gymnastics a sport. I consider like diving.
Or swimming.
But I don't consider racing a sport.
But I think some sports are a lot easier than others. I think NASCAR is probably one of those sports. I think it's
okay. So I'm not again. Like I'm saying things with technique. Like I don't consider racing a sport. It's obviously dangerous. People could like lose their life or get injured, but no. Yeah, The Fighter's good with Marky Mark. A lot of sports movies have very cliche names. Blindside.
Yeah. Oh, Blindside's one I'm surprised I missed that one.
The iconic football movie Game Plan.
Is that with The Rock and
Yes.
When he has a kid, right?
Yeah.
That one's terrible.
It's great.
Oh, another one with The Rock that was actually pretty good was Gridiron Gang.
I haven't seen that.
That's not a bad. He like coaches. I don't know if it's like a youth penitentiary, but they play like other high school teams, so it's pretty good. And it's like a bunch of.
Oh, I have one. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
The original, the one with Burt Reynolds. What's the football movie
Longest
with?
Yard.
What?
Longest Yard.
Longest Yard. I love that.
Burt Reynolds one's really good, and then
I'm not considering. Like I love Adam Sandler, and I do like that movie, but the original I love.
It's good that they put Burt Reynolds in the second one, like the remake.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like the older, grizzled coach in that.
Yeah.
But so that'll wrap up the draft. It'll be up on Instagram. Go vote, and we'll be back with I think the sports documentaries one. You want to do that one for next Thursday or our second episode for next week?
Sure.
All right, but so before we get into the certified lover boy,
can I? Okay, you go.
You go.
I was gonna bring up so earlier this week I texted you. Kanye West is the rapper equivalent of like Conor McGregor.
I got to practice and saw that text and like laughed about it. I was like, that's pretty accurate.
But I want you to explain to me why you think I said that.
Well, so how I see it is they're both regarded as the GOAT and like, or can be. You could not regarded, but maybe you could argue that they're the GOAT.
No.
Of this generation. I'm not saying McGregor's I don't know.
A GOAT of popularity, yes. He's not up there in GOAT status.
Ooh, McGregor?
Yeah, no.
Popularity-wise, yes. So then I don't really get the Kanye comparison.
Okay.
Because Kanye is both popular and really talented, and you could argue is one of the top 5 rappers of all time.
Okay, I'll give you top 5 of this generation, sure. All right, so the two of them, they came out of the gate so heavy. Like their trajectory went up. Like if we were looking at like a spike or whatever kind of graph
Graph.
whatever, well, graphs have different names, whatever that graph is called,
Yeah.
they would both be up almost immediately. Such a high spike.
Well, I know for Kanye, I mean, he came out, his first 3 albums are Graduation, College Dropout, and Late Registration, which are
Exactly.
3 of the best albums of the last 20 years.
And Connor was a double champ in almost no time.
Yeah. So
Loud mouth off the gate.
Oh, so are you saying now that they kind of are still very popular but have fizzled out?
Not fizzled out because their trajectory, both of their trajectory is definitely on the down angle, but their numbers are what's so high to this. Their numbers and their quality they don't match now.
Yes.
So their numbers match their original trajectory of them doing so well off the gate, but they're both just so popular that it doesn't matter how poor they do now, their numbers will always be at the top. Like Kanye, it didn't really mean too much to say like they're debuting at number 1 because there's a lot of artists that it doesn't really matter. Like they're popular, of course, but it's a huge accomplishment, but it doesn't mean they're go. And so the top 10 biggest pay-per-view buys of all time, combat sports, like 4 of them, I think, the 2 people that are in all of the fights that are Floyd Mayweather or Conor McGregor. So Conor's in 4 or 5 of the top 10, and the last couple fights were in that top 10, and Conor did shit. He got his ass knocked down in one of them. He broke his leg in the other one.
And that's Donda Jesus is King right there.
Exactly. Like the quality isn't there, but he's always going to be breaking records.
Right. No, I can agree with that. And with Conor, there's a shelf life because he'll stop fighting eventually. Kanye can always keep making music, which I think is
people are Evander Holyfield fighting in like next week. The shelf life for Conor in
okay. The shelf life of Evander Holyfield's fighting in what? It's more of Evander Holyfield when he comes out of retirement or Tyson does. It's like a celebrity fight. It's not taken as seriously, I don't think.
Conor's fight with Floyd Mayweather is the second highest pay-per-view buy of all time.
I understand that, but they're both still in their prime. Kanye can always keep making music, and still, there's a difference between fighting when you're 50. Conor is not going to be fighting when he's 50. Kanye can easily be making music when he's in his 50s. Easily. It's not even a competition. It's no question.
How old is Kanye? Kanye's got to be upper 40s, right?
Ooh.
46, 47?
44.
He's young.
He's a lot younger than I thought.
Yeah. Conor's probably like 33, if you want to check that real quick.
Yeah, let me check real quick.
But those boxing fights are always going to be there for Conor. And again, it's nothing to do with quality, but he's always going to be that name for how much he talks shit. Yeah, he's like in the future, I'm not going to call it a celebrity fight. He can be doing like Jake Paul fights, like someone that's not up to par with quality, but someone that's always going to be getting numbers.
Yeah. I think it's different, and it's at the disadvantage of Conor because making music will always be taken seriously. There's really not a step down, especially when you're at Kanye's level. With Conor, there is a clear step down once he starts doing celebrity boxing.
I'm not going to call it celebrity boxing because
I mean that's what it is.
It is what it is, but I'm not even going to call I don't look at Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley as celebrity boxing. I just see it as, unfortunately, like a boxing fight at this point. But I don't know.
I think I agree currently where they're at now that they're like the same person. But I think
Well, you can still look back and they still have that same trajectory and numbers.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
not going.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm saying give it 15, 20 years.
Yeah, that's not saying much. It's still.
Connor will not be fighting. Kanye will still be making music at the same level, at not the same level he is now, but will still be respected the same he is now. If Connor starts doing money grab fights, the respect starts to dwindle.
I don't think so, only because aging is inevitable, and I don't think people will look past him for the fact of like the trilogy with him and Nate Diaz is there, and that's practically a celebrity fight because neither of them are. I'm using the term celebrity fight, but neither of them are ever going to. There's a high chance neither of them are going to ever be in like the top 5 again.
Right.
But that fight is like non-title main event, probably 2 million buys or like 1.5 something. Like that could be in the top 10, and it's nowhere near the quality of where both those two guys compared to the rest of like the sport.
Yeah, but you're naming just one thing, like one fight, the Nate Diaz fight, that trilogy. I think once he starts fighting other guys, there's going to be a real decline. I don't think the Kanye decline is going to happen numbers wise the way that it's going to happen with Connor.
I don't think so. Well, I think any fight is going to have the popularity due to his name. Like, I don't think Dustin Poirier is that popular if it's not for a Conor McGregor fight.
Yeah.
Like, I know Dustin's like top 3, which obviously that's quality, but you replace Dustin Poirier with X name, and I think it's going to still do those numbers. Of course, I'm saying in this decade, like you're saying 15 years, whatever, his numbers going to go down. Yeah. But
in the decade, we both agree they're the same person pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. I mean, it's especially because if you look at both of Kanye's, his last 2 projects, it's been not very good. And like you said with McGregor, the broken leg is Donda. His broken leg is Donda. So
I mean, we're just saying those last couple albums of Kanye, but comparing, I'm not calling other albums of his trash, but if you want to compare Life of Pablo and Yeezus to like the first 3, it's still a decline.
Nothing touches his first 5. Because his first 5 are 808s and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
All right.
The first 3 are insane, though. No rapper has ever had 3 debut albums like Kanye has.
I think there's an argument for Eminem. I don't know.
Did the Slim Shady LP have the same bounce though as any of the other 3 in the Kanye one? That's the only thing, like, because Eminem Show was his second album.
What was that?
Eminem Show was his second album, which you could argue is in that same field as a graduation, a late registration, or college dropout. And same with Encore.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to accurately compare the two because both of us were very young. We were even very young when the original Kanye album came out, but
that was like 03 or 04 it came out.
Exactly. We both look at that album so highly. But to like, it's personal opinion. But I don't know.
I just think magnitude now, I don't think any rapper has had 3 albums like Kanye has looking back in history. Eminem's a good argument, though. I just think Slim Shady LP hurts it a little bit because it's, when you think of Eminem's top albums, nobody thinks of that. Oh, wait, when did Marshall Mathers LP 1 come out? I may be wrong.
Okay, today. Did you get the Rona?
No, I got sick over camp, like real bad. Sinus infection just tore me up. Oh, yeah, Marshall Mathers LP came out in 2000. So let me see what his first 3 actually were. I thought I had it right, but so his first 3 were Eminem Show, Slim Shady LP, and Marshall Mathers LP. Those are 3 tough ones to compare to Kanye's, I think, but they're close. They're very close.
Exactly.
Yeah. Other music news before we touch on the we've been teasing it this whole time. Certified Lover Boy, friend of the pod, J.R. Specs has new music coming out next Wednesday with Be All, another Maine rapper who's in Brooklyn now, called Grapevine. So I'm excited to hear some new JR. We'll probably get him back on to talk about that. But that's definitely an exciting thing. He's kind of been teasing it on his TikTok page. He started a new thing called it's like it's videos of him delivering pizza, playing his own music, because he's trying to just get enough so he can pretty much do music as his full-time job. So I'm excited. I'll reach out and get him back on in the next few weeks once that comes out. But so Certified Lover Boy, what are your thoughts? Especially now in light of Donda coming out, I feel like both are being compared very heavily today, if you've been on social media. And
I'm not, never.
I would like to weigh in with, I think Certified Lover Boy is better than Donda.
Is that supposed to be like a hot opinion?
I don't know, because a lot of people I've been seeing, I don't know if we have the wrong opinion on Donda.
No, people
like,
are yes
I've
men.
seen a lot of people saying like, this is his greatest album. This is a 10 out of 10. And
yeah, because people, dude, there's such a high percentage of people that like to hop on things so quick, and they just like to say, like, they like this off the bat. They just think that's cool. Like, you know my opinion with Thugger and those kind of artists, using that term loosely. But
I mean, if you want to get into it, the best song off of Certified Lover Boy is Way Too Sexy with Future and Young Thug. It's not even like, that was my favorite song when I heard it. I knew I was going to bring this up because I know you hate both of them. So those were my two favorites off of Certified Lover Boy.
Anywho, both of those artists, and there's such a handful of others, including like Juice WRLD and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they put out. People are automatically gonna say that they love it. With like, and Playboy Cardi is in that group too. Like,
I don't know if Young Thug is in that group.
Well, for me, he is.
Are you saying like the people that automatically will say they love his music?
Yes.
I don't think he's in that group. I think
okay.
I think Cardi.
I'll say I think
you're 100% right about Playboy Cardi. I do not disagree with that statement.
Well, because I don't follow him, but I follow accounts that would post his music.
Yeah.
And the comment section is flooded with, I had to listen to this. Like we talked about this earlier. I had to listen to maybe I had to listen to this 4 or 5 more times to fully you don't need to fully understand a weirdo making noises. Like, that's not good music. You shouldn't have to force yourself or persuade yourself to thinking that something is good or high quality to your opinion.
Right.
But I don't know. I think there's that, like, it just has to do with how popular that person is, and those people who are just like not able to form their own like taste in music. They just have to on whatever's popular, in my opinion. But what was I talking about that?
I don't know. We were saying like
Donda.
with the Kanye thing, with how Donda, people are saying this is his best album. Like, I think that's I saved the TikTok to bring this up to you. I saw a kid rank his he did Kanye's top 12 albums. He put it was just blasphemous. He put Donda at 1, Life of Pablo at 2, and Yeezus at 3.
Yeah, that person's just an idiot.
And the one that was in 12th place, the like bottom, was Watch the Throne.
Is 1 that, or is 12 at the top and it's that?
12 was like his very, like, what he thinks is the worst Kanye album was Watch the Throne. And he had like Kids See Ghosts at 7, Graduation at 8, College Dropout at 5. It was so weird.
So I don't think Ye is in that boat of what I was talking about, but I think Ye projects are in that boat. I think it fizzles of people saying that they like it or love it. They just want to be in that initial group.
Mm-hmm.
And those people that say that it's like, I'm not going to say it's the people that say that it's his best work, but people that say that they love the album, I don't truly think that's true.
No.
I think they just want to persuade themselves to think that it's really good just because of who is putting it out.
I actually think that they think it's the best album because they're making themselves.
I have more faith. I'm unfortunately giving people more faith than they should have, but yeah.
I think like I said, I think they think it because they're making themselves think it. It is
exactly persuade yourself. Exactly.
Which is so bad. Like, I love Kanye, but like it just Donda wasn't good. And you and me text about the Donda chant thing too, which you and me didn't seem to. Both of us weren't too fond of. I think. I wasn't.
Well, it's stupid. I understand that. I sent you the thing where it's supposed to be like his mom's heartbeat or whatever.
Yeah.
Say I don't respect that because that's it's a little rude.
It's very Kanye that he would do something like that.
Very Kanye. But for something that's important to him, it means nothing to the millions listening.
Yeah, it's
an annoying sound.
Yeah, that
I don't care about like that's like his musical equivalent to an abstract art. Like to somebody looking at a picture and it's just colors and random things swirled together, that's the equivalent to that, I think. Like us, we're just hearing Donda, Donda, Donda. But to him, it's like my mother's last breaths. Like
so much more to him than to me listening to it.
Exactly.
So
even me knowing that in advance, it doesn't make me change my opinion because I'm not listening to art. I'm not listening to the equivalent of a painting. I'm listening to a music album.
Yep. No, I agree with that. My question, has this year had the worst cover art of all time? Like the cover art, at least of the past of Donda and
you don't like a black picture?
Or
racist?
I don't even care about that. The Certified Lover Boy one is fucking awful. It's so bad.
Okay, so I agree, but I can't talk shit just because of how many. You probably saw, or I don't know if I sent it to you, but how many businesses were recreating that picture? Like,
Outcast, the Outcast Instagram page posted one.
Exactly.
Andre 3000 with just different colored shirts on that matched up with the emojis, which was funny, but like it's just a meme.
Yeah, I guess out of the influence, you good? Need a second?
Good.
Okay. Because of the influence it had on like probably just that week, no one's gonna remember it like 2 weeks. But yeah, no, I mean Drake's never probably had like the most creative cover art. It's pictures of him or pictures of I don't know, but that's my.
I'm gonna pull some of his up and see.
Like he's had good cover art for an album, but it's never like mesmerizing. It's not like
his best was probably Views or Take
Care. Of a boat.
Take Care.
Is that the white one with like the words?
No. Take Care is the one of him sitting. It's the black and gold one.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good cover, but it's not like, oh my god, look at this. Of course, this is like way past that. This is like, what the fuck am I looking at? This is like lazy. But at the same time, with the influence, like that's kind of made over. Maybe not influence is the right word, but the effect that it had this past week on other people's posts and media. I don't know. Of course, it's stupid, but I don't know. I think I wish it wasn't Drake who put that out because you get what I mean. I think.
I know. Staying on music, I text you. I added 3 new CDs to the collection.
Yes.
More Outcast. We got Stankonia right here. We got, on the topic of Kanye, I got the Ye one, dude. The 7-song Ye one. I hate being, and this is pretty good cover art. It's simple, but it's good. And then Rage Against the Machine, one of my favorite rock albums, a good gym album. So the Evil Empire one. So there's a Newberry Comics like 30 minutes down the Cape from me. So we had an off day. I went and checked that out and bought it. So I was kind of pumped to add those to the collection. And then I've got my Spose one coming in. So he actually released 2 songs off the album that were.
Post one.
What's up?
I saw that you posted one of them.
It was really good. I'm actually really excited for the album. I'm like, I legitimately have I haven't been excited for like the Kanye hype for an album now is dead because you don't know when he's actually going to release it. Like if he released on
I
like
don't care. Like
if
sorry,
Donda was going to come out on a set Friday, you knew it was coming out, I would be fired up, but we know his MO where that's not going to happen.
dude, he's been doing that since the first three. Like that's nothing new. I think Graduation was not. I think that came out late.
College Dropout was late, but I think that's because he broke his jaw, I think.
What a genius.
I think he added Through the Wire because of that. Well, he obviously added it because of that, but I think that's why it was delayed.
Like the feeling of my anticipation, when it comes out does not reflect me at all. Me expecting the quality is what influences my anticipation. Like I'm not even comparing it to the first three anymore. I just want something that, in my opinion, is good. And that's just not what's him anymore. Again, like he just tries to be too out of the loop.
Yeah, and I don't even think we've talked about it before. I don't think he's trying to be purposely like unique. He just thinks this is what is like the Donda chant thing is what he thinks is going to be. Like I want to do this. This is my art. I'm doing this. I don't care. And I legitimately don't think he cares what people think when he throws something like Donda chant on there.
Well, we talked about that on when we record Tuesday or Monday that he's not just doing it for the love at this point because
yeah.
For one, it's not like he's getting like sales off each individual album. Like he's not making $1 million from streaming. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. He's an odd individual,
odd character. But I think that's gonna wrap it up. It was a big week with music and stuff. So,
Woodley and Jake happened. And
I forgot we talked about it, but didn't actually covered it.
Yeah, no, we both predicted a finish. It went to the decision. I think split. I don't really remember. Might have been unanimous. With Jake Paul winning, kind of a dumb decision with the only significant shot coming from Tyron. When do you think? So at least from the Pauls, when do you think it's going to end or the hype goes down? Do you think it's when he loses? Or do you think it's when, no? Because they're very much pushing him and Tommy Fury next. Tyson Fury's brother?
Yeah, wow. I just don't think it ever ends. I honestly don't.
Well, that's where the hype is right now. Like, I've beaten this. I mean, I guess they can play like a cute little story of like redemption when he loses, but
I just don't think it's ever going to end because there's also two of them. It's not like one of them has to lose. There's still two of them.
Logan Paul's a lot less annoying about it.
Yeah, Jake is the worst.
From him, it just seems like he's doing it to do it.
I don't mind Logan. He's tolerable of the two.
Logan, the one, like they were really trying to, not really trying to, but Logan and Anderson Silva was on a table at one point. I don't think it's going to happen anymore, but that's one where, again, like you said, he's not really annoying about it. But the annoyance is what drives the media.
Yeah.
Like there's all these MMA fighters that are hopping on social media saying, I want to be next, from BJ Penn, who threw a fit online after Jake Paul licked his glove. And BJ Penn is trying to throw like the cease and desist kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I just think when the money stops coming in is when it's over. And it doesn't seem like right now the money's going to stop at all. I don't think the money stops whatsoever.
For how many people were in that arena and that was the main event? That's insane.
Yeah. You got to look at that and think that this isn't going to end soon.
You hear me?
What?
The Julius was there.
Was he really?
Yeah, Mr. Ohio. I mean, it was in Ohio.
Was it? Where was it? In Cleveland?
Yep.
What a shitty place for that fight.
I might have lied. Hold on.
I heard Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't seem like one of America's top cities.
I disagree. It's America's city.
Cleveland is America's city.
Rocket Mortgage. Cleveland, yeah.
Yeah. But the money's gonna keep coming in. I don't think this is over for a while. It's the Paul train is gonna keep rolling.
That was my argument for why I think McGregor is not going anywhere, even if he switches over to boxing.
Yeah, it'll be tough, especially that injury is not an easy one to come back from.
Looking pretty good. I don't know. Chris Weidman got it a lot worse. You probably saw the video. Weidman got it a lot worse, and he's going back for another surgery, but his trajectory is he should be back within a year.
That's good, though.
Yeah. I mean, when Anderson Silva got that leg injury years ago by Chris Weidman,
that was insane. I almost puked watching that. It was nuts.
He was never the same after. Man, I don't really know how many fights. Hold on. How many? One moment. I'm going to wiki Anderson Silva real quick. I should know the answer to this, but the amount of fights that Anderson Silva won after that fight, but that has something to do with his ability because he pieced up whatever is the guy he just boxed.
Well, I have no clue.
Julio Chavez Jr. But after he lost to Chris Weidman by the leg injury, he only won one fight within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my bad, 8. So after that leg injury, he was 1-8.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's not very good.
No. That's terrible.
I'd say not very good.
No. That's bad. Big bad.
Very bad. But so yeah, that'll wrap up 106. Make sure you come back next week. Like I said, we're gonna look to have JR back on the pod. Guests will be tough to get on because with school, it's gonna be tough to really lock down times and stuff. So you're gonna be hearing a lot from Brett and I. So lock in. And yeah, thank you for listening, guys.